Hello YouTube, it's Karma here doing the weekly Dollhouse recap and thoughts for Season 1, Episode 4 called Grey Hour. Okay, so the episode begins with Echo being a nurse. It's not really that important, it's just kind of one of her imprints, so we're just going to move on from there. When she's in the dollhouse, it looks like she's grouping with Victor and Sierra, as in they all sit at the same table and have lunch together like all the time. And Topher says it goes way past imprinting or wiped memories, it's an instinct that they're grouping together, so that's kind of cool and weird at the same time. Echo gets imprinted to be an entertainer for a bachelor party, and she runs out because the bachelors and all the party guys got drunk, and she runs out of this hotel room and asks like one of the managers, please help me, you know, they hit me and blah blah blah, and he takes her down to basically kind of his office and offers to pay her a fee if she doesn't press charges against anyone at the hotel. She knocks the manager out, and it turns out that that was part of a disguise, that her and the bachelor party are all trying to break into this like warehouse full of stolen art for a client and steal a piece of art. Let's see, one of the guys who is kind of an art knowledge dude, as in he knows a lot about art, and he's there to make sure that what they're grabbing is the real deal. He decides to go rogue, and he takes a piece of art and he locks the door. So he locks in Echo and these two other guys. One of the guys is wounded by a sword. So he locks them in, and Echo calls Boyd, and she's like, okay, it'll be fine. And then somehow her memory gets wiped, which is the big theme of the episode. She hears something, and then she says, shall I go now? Oh, no, she says, did I fall asleep? Which is what she usually says after she gets wiped. And so that's a big deal. So Topher, the guy who's back at the dollhouse who programs everybody, he finds out about this, and he says it's very dangerous because she's just wiped, and it's like being born. And it's okay when they're in the dollhouse because they're in a comfortable setting with like nice pillows and stuff. But she's gonna freak out because she doesn't know where she is. And it's true, BTW, I loved Eliza Dushku's performance as like doll Echo. Like, we've gotten to see some of it before, but this one was really good. Like, I really liked how I knew everything was. It kind of reminded me of Carla Swan a little bit, so yeah, probably like, anyway. Topher says that the only person who can do a remote wipe, which is a wipe from afar, is Alpha, who's dead. So more about that later. Sierra gets imprinted with what was Echo's imprint. The name of Echo's person was Taffy, so they imprint Sierra with the personality of Taffy, and she says like the same lines, and she has the same memories that Echo had, because she's the only one who has the knowledge to get them out of there. So she talks to Echo over the phone, but before that, the guy who's wounded, Echo's talking to him, and they're looking at some abstract art, and Echo's really confused, and she's like, that's not what people look like, and he says, well, that's what they look like on the inside. You know, and he kind of explains it to her, and she's looking at pictures of mountains, and she likes it, and she's very innocent, and the guy helps her, you know. He says, like, you know, when the police come in, put your hands up. He gives her, basically, examples of, like, the human condition and what to do, because they pretty much thought that basically Taffy had a meltdown, so they're just going with it. Or that guy is, at least. So Sierra walks Echo through what she's supposed to do over the phone. She has to put this liquid in like a door and drill through it. I'm not going to get all detail on you. Basically, Echo's drilling and the alarm goes off. And the guy who's not wounded, the other guy, he holds a gun to Echo and says you need to start shooting when these, you know, security comes in. And Echo doesn't really want to, so there's a syringe on the ground full of something, and she stabs it into the guy. And then she goes to the other guy who's wounded, and he says, just go, you can get out. And she actually takes him with her. And Boyd comes in, and, you know, he's there, and everything's happy again, and then Echo gets wiped, of course. Miss DeWitt, the lady who runs the dollhouse, is talking to Topher about what happened, and she gives him a higher security clearance, and he's like, wait. The only person that could have done this at all is Alpha, and you guys said that he was dead. And Miss DeWitt said it's really hard to contain somebody who has that much knowledge and skill. And she said, if you tell me what we can do to prevent this from happening again, I'll tell you what I know about Alpha. So that's pretty much what happened. There's a little bit on the side with Victor and the agent dude, but I'm not going to get really into it because it wasn't as important as the rest of the stuff. But basically, Victor asks the agent for help, or his imprint, asks the agent for help, and then he doesn't help him. So I'm not going to get with detailing on that one, guys. But it was a really good episode. I liked how Echo, how it was nice to see her personality when she's a doll. Like I said, we got to see a little bit more of that. My tongue is sticking out. It was nice to see that. And the fact that this Alpha thing keeps looming over the series, I'm like dying to see him. So that's always a good thing to grab people, is like the threat of having Alpha come back, and why does he keep tampering with Echo, and what's going on with that. And also at the end of the episode, Echo was looking at a mirror and she starts like drawing. So she's really hardcore, once again, for the 10th time I'll say this, starting to remember without remembering, if that makes sense, you know, who she was. And she even says when she's in the warehouse, she's like, what's my name? And the guy says Taffy. And she's like, I have a different name at the other place. So she's aware of it, and it's nice to know that she hasn't lost all of her personality, like when she's a doll, you know. So it was a good episode. I liked it. It was one of the more interesting ones I've seen. So, yeah, good episode. Sorry this recap is up late, but daylight savings time is just, Anyway, I will see you guys tomorrow for Kyle XY, and then next Friday again for Dollhouse. Subscribe, comment, and rate. Bye.